Okay. All right, guys, we are getting our little evaporator cooker here going. This is a homemade deal. This will be the third year in a row we've used it. Okay, we bought a stove kit to go with a 55-gallon drum, which was this door here. We bought it off of Amazon. Just real cheap, like 50 bucks. You get this, and they make a collar that goes on top of it, but we couldn't use it, so we didn't use that part. All we needed was the door and the legs that goes under the bottoms of it. Once we got that leveled in, we have a video showing about how we built this. We went online to Amazon and bought 2 stainless steel trays to go in here, the deep ones, not the shallow ones, but the deep ones. And I cut into the drum and put 2 pieces of angle iron and pop riveted them in where these will set into it. And as we got the fire going in there, the fire heats these 2 and evaporates the moisture out of it so that it works. In the back, I just took a regular heater elbow and put in it and run a piece of pipe up. Got it sticking up in the air there. Works out really nice, guys. These pans hold 4 gallons each. So this is 8 gallons of juice right here. And we've got another couple of gallons in a container here behind us to give us 10 gallons of juice from our 100 stalks of cane. Guys, basically from this point forward, you see how it's moving? It's beginning to boil underneath, and that's what you want. The impurities will come to the top, and this is what's called skimmings. Now, you don't want to skim too often once it starts getting closer to being syrup, because if you do, then your skimmings will get mixed in with the syrup and you really won't ever get them out of it. So be patient with it. It's going to take a while. It's not going to happen real quick. And make sure as you're doing it that you keep it hot. You have to keep checking the fire. You know, you got to figure out where to put this door at. You want to make sure you get a really good bed of coals going in there. Now I lined the bottom of this drum with bricks in here to help even hold more heat. And plus it keeps from burning the bottom of my drum out. And guys, I don't know, you probably can't hear it, but it's actually boiling the water in it. You can hear it. And when you see the steam coming off of it like you have here, that is part of the evaporation process. Now what you do have to watch out for when you're using this type of setup is right along the edges in here, in this part right here, the fire will get up between them and it'll get pretty hot right in there. So every so often you might want to take and just kind of like just move the juice around a little bit so that it doesn't get too hot right in this point, because I can actually see it bubbling right here. You see how that's starting to bubble right along that edge right there? What you want to do is move that juice around. And that's what we're going to do here. You don't want to just slosh it around. You want to take it really slow and just kind of stir it a little bit. Real easy. This here is a little pot I used. I cut the handle off on it and hooked it onto a stick here. This is what we'll be using when we get around to the syrup process. We'll be running it in the syrup like this, holding it up, letting it drip, and watching it sheet off of it, and that will be telling us how close we are to getting syrup. Because I don't use a barmaid to weigh with or anything like that. I do it by eyesight and just experience. Now this one back here will probably cook faster than this one because the heat runs to go up this pipe. This one will get hotter, and as this one cooks down, what we'll do is take hot juice out of this one and we'll move it over into this one, because you don't ever want to put cold juice into this one, because that cold juice going into hot juice causes crystallization and you get sugar forming that way. And then what we'll do is we'll take the water, the juice that we have back here, and we'll gradually infiltrate it back into this one that's not so hot, so that we can kind of keep it full to work with this one with. See, these are the skimmings. We just drop them off into a bucket over here. Now if you got hogs, now hogs love these skimmings. Now this skimmer here is a homemade process. It's just a piece of galvanized metal that I took and bent it up, and I just made the ends and screwed it onto a stick here like this. I screwed it together. I took a number 12 nail and I punched a row of holes in there. The holes are kind of tiny so that the skimmings don't run back through this. The juice can go through it, but the skimmings can't. And this is made the exact width of an original evaporator pan. This one don't have too much, just a little. Very much at all in this one. Cleaning up nice. Okay guys, we're to a point now where it's starting to smell like syrup. It's taking on more of an amber color. I don't know if you can see it very well, but there's an amber look to it. And we've cooked out, we had 3 of the pots full of juice. We've cooked out 1.5. We have about 1.5 left to go. It's been 4 hours. I got to put a little bit more wood in here because the back one's not boiling as good as the front one, so I need to put me some more wood in. As soon as we get that done, it won't be long now, because the more you cook, you get a bed of coals built up in the cooker, and it stays hot a lot easier. It doesn't really take that much wood. I haven't even used a wheelbarrow full of wood yet. So I think that probably by the time I'm finished, I will have used the whole wheelbarrow full of wood to make this syrup. Not sure this year how much I'm going to end up with out of this. I'm hoping to at least get a gallon or a gallon and a half. So we'll just have to wait and see.
The smell is amazing.
I know it. I love that smell. I can smell that all day long. See there's a nice bed of coals in there. And it's all about learning how to keep your draft here with the door. You know, sometimes you have to leave the door open a little bit more. Sometimes you have to close it. It just all depends on how your fire's going and how it's affecting this here.
This one looks more like syrup than this one. This one still looks like muddy water.
Yeah, it's going to take a little while. I've actually had it boiling harder on this one than I have that one on purpose, because this is the one I dip out of, putting back into that. And this one usually stays more full than that one does. But today I'm in a hurry, and I'm trying to push it
And not burn it.
and not scorch it. Because if you scorch it, it's just ruined. I don't care what you do. But you really, the scorching part doesn't have to worry too much about until you get right toward the end. That's when you can scorch it, and it can happen that fast. All right, guys, we're not there yet, but this is what it looks like once you start getting close to the end. We're waiting for it to actually begin to foam, and it hasn't done that yet. Right now we got little 1/4-inch bubbles, and we're not quite there yet. Okay, this one here, we just filled up with water. We're just letting it heat up. It helps to clean the pan, plus it keeps it from getting too hot, the metal, and warping, so it stays full of water, and it doesn't get as hot as this back here does. This is just a way of cleaning a pan, and when I use my tools in here, I'll give you a demonstration. Like when I'm over here skimming. I don't like to do a lot of skimming at this point, because if you get it in the syrup, You can't get it out, but I'm just going to show you this. I'm going to take this out. And I'll kind of throw it over there, and I come back. There's still a little skimmings left on this, so I can dip it in that hot water, and when I do, it cleans it right off of that, so I don't have to worry about putting it back over into this. And plus, this is hot, so it doesn't, I don't get this cold going back into hot, crystallizing my syrup. Okay guys, I'm down to probably 2 gallons left in this. And I've been 6.5 hours now working with this. We started with 10 gallons, we're down to 2.5, and we're gonna be getting pretty close here, probably within the next hour or two of having our syrup. Oh yeah, when you're making this, this is a deal, you can't leave it. You have to stay with it from beginning to end. You don't even walk away from it, because if you do, you can lose it. You can scorch it, or your fire can go down. You have to start all over again. I mean, guys, there's a lot of things that can happen. So once you start it, there's no walking away from it.
I wish they had smell.
Yeah.
The smell is wonderful now.
Okay guys, one of the things about cooking syrup, you can have all the coals in there you want. It's not going to do you any good. You've got to have a flame, and that's why we take these little tiny lighter knots we pick up out here in the woods, and we throw them up in there right toward the end, because that way we don't have a whole pile of wood in there burning. We've got a small fire so that when we get the syrup ready, we can pull it off and we don't have to worry about a big flame roaring fire to scorch it. Guys, when it comes to cooking syrup, you eat lunch, you eat snacks, and you eat supper while you're here. You don't go inside. You have to stay right with it. And I'm at a point that's very critical, so I have to keep my eye on it while I'm eating. I may have to stop at any moment.
It's getting to the foam stage. It's bubbling up where it's...
Oh yeah. Yep.
See, food goes by the wayside.
Yep. I can reheat the food. Yep, this is what we've been waiting on right here.
So what's the difference now?
See how the bubbles are all gathering together? Get all this trash off of this. Now is when we're going to start checking it for sheeting. See how it's starting to sheet?
Turning into syrup.
About like making candy. Lord help me. It's getting close. looking good. Grab me another bite to eat right quick. All right, my friends, we're sitting here. You start to see these large bubbles pop up along the edges here. And you start to see them come out here in the middle. They get up to about 1 inch in diameter and they pop. You can start to see them. That's when we know we're right at the threshold. We should be able to have sheeting syrup now. Notice them. See how they're... We should have sheeting syrup almost 3/4 to 1 inch wide when we do it. Yep. Jacket got in it.
And we're pouring it into a stainless steel kettle to take into the house. And he's straining it just for any last little fuzzies, impurities. That's beautiful.
Okay guys, we fill this up with water because the stove still has a lot of red hot coals in it and a little fire. This is going to burn most of the night, and I want to make sure that the pans have enough water in them so that it doesn't evaporate out during the night, and then in the morning I'll be able to come in here with a little light scrubby pad and these pans will come just as clean as they can be.
We add 1/2 of a teaspoon of lemon juice to each pint to keep it from turning to sugar. So now, if your jar does turn to sugar, the one thing you can do is put the jar over in boiling water and let it sit. It will go back into your syrup form again. And it's usable as sugar. So, win-win situation.
We want to do a couple of little half pints, guys, so you know, you never know when you might want a little small one.
And the rest is going.
The rest is going to go in the refrigerator in a little dish or something for us to enjoy.
Because Wanda's making some biscuits.
Yeah. Now this is what happens when you get through pouring out all the syrup and there's some left in dishes and stuff rather than washing it off down the sink. People like Ms. Wanda, they clean it up for you. It's like, give it to Mikey.
This is called sopping.
You need a biscuit to sop.
Oh, we need a biscuit to sop. Well, this is called...
This is called sucking, finger licking good. Like Kentucky Fried Chicken, this is finger licking good.
I'm telling you, ain't
nothing got anything on that. Anyway, guys, here we are, right here. We did 2 half pints. We ended up with 14 pints total. So I think that was a blessing. Oh, and plus a little bit to go in our fridge for us to have on our morning biscuits and stuff. So really, we normally do 15 pints, but this time I cooked it just a little bit longer. And we ended up with 14, and you might as well say a quarter. So anyway, guys, I hope you've enjoyed watching Deep South in their day making syrup. And see, anyone can do it. You just find somewhere to squeeze your cane and build you a little cooker like I built there. I think I got $60 or $70 in the whole thing. Guys, you can't beat that for a way to cook your own syrup.
So Danny pretty much has the field. He's got a little bit on each side to push up. Got it cleaned, and guys, look, cane already, this is December 2nd, and look, it's already coming back out. That's crazy. Look at this here. We're gonna let the cows in here. He's gonna fence this off, give them another pasture area so they can eat the grass here. We're gonna be seeding all this, putting grass on it in the next couple of days, and getting it ready for the cows. Thank you guys from Deep South Homestead.